go. Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Welcome one and all to the first edition of the 2019 season of Planning Commission meetings. Thank you for coming out on a cold January night. We will begin the agenda with an open public comment. Members of the public may address the Planning Commission concerning matters within our jurisdiction which are not listed on the agenda, and to request that a matter be agendized for a future meeting. No action may be taken on these matters at this meeting. Is there anyone who would wish to speak?
Hi, my name's Gail Goodyear, and I'm actually going to be commenting about several items. May I do those all at the same time, or do you want me to sit down and stand up several times?
You mean on items on the agenda?
No, these are just items for public comment.
Oh, please go ahead.
Information.
Please go ahead.
So on the response posted on the website regarding the Mines proposal for Douglas City property for a cannabis distribution center, there was a comment that said that there was data to support what is in the initial study and that is available upon request. Request has been made, information has not been provided yet. If that information is valuable to the public to make comment or write comments, then those should be provided as a link in the initial study, any initial study. That making the public then make a second request for information and trying to figure out how to get what they need. That makes it a more level playing field. At this point, it's not level. And Mr. Tippett, I talked to him after the initial study that was prepared by Colleen O'Sullivan, and I said, will we be going down the same path when you redo the initial study? Because people who live and have owned property in Marshall Ranch have information of value in the preparation of this study. He said an independent reviewer would be selected, and he said that I could participate. I was never notified who the person was, and the study has come out. I believe that person has had the opportunity to speak to applicants or other people who are involved. So I would like to say that makes the playing field uneven. So that's one comment. We deserve the data. The public, we. My second comment has to do with my initial meeting of Terry Mines. I happened to be in the Trinity County Records Office when he came in asking the staff there for how to find who he should notify regarding a particular parcel and plans for that parcel. Since we were sitting next to each other at computers, I recognized the parcel number he was referring to as being on Marshall Ranch Road. He said, hey, this is great. I just have to notify 2 people, 2 owners. And I was standing behind him in line to pay, and I said, well, excuse me, but I recognize your APN number, and I know I am among the people you should notify. And he turned around and said, oh, is your name Goodyear? The planning department had told him I would, or a Goodyear would be on the list of people to notify. So I wrote this email. I was pretty disconcerted about the whole process. That Parcel Quest was not working the way that it was intended to work, so I thought I should let a lot of people know. supervisors, the planning department. I didn't copy the commission, and that's why I came here tonight to share that with you. Anyway, so this is a situation that also is existing, that Parcel Quest or other computer programs are being used in the preparation of the initial studies, and they are not revealing true information. And I think you're seeing some of that in the public comment too. This is not correct. That's not correct. This is not correct. I wish we didn't have to do this in a public way. If the planning department had decided to speak ahead of time, I would prefer not to do public shaming, but that's feel like where we are. Sorry. I realize you're an all-volunteer group, and I appreciate that to the max. During one of last month's meetings, I commented about the Huffman proposal for Hayfork. I had read it very quickly and noticed that pesticides and herbicides would be allowed to be sprayed at wind speeds up to 10 miles an hour, and I objected to that. I believe a lot of people in Trinity County don't like the use of pesticides and herbicides at all. I have spoken to members of SAFE since then. Still surprised about how they're deciding to play this, but I just believe in being right up front. Please don't do that. Several growers got up after I commented and said, we're just using simple things that you could find in your kitchen, which some things are found in the kitchen, like peppermint, rosemary, things like that. There are various websites to get information from. I chose one, Legal Pest Management Practices for Marijuana Growers in California. At the top of the list is a chemical as a directin. And if you call up the material safety data sheet for that chemical, this isn't something that we use in our kitchens or regularly in our homes. It's classified as a category 3 flammable liquid. Both the liquid and the vapor are quite flammable. And it goes on to explain other air quality problems with that particular pesticide. That pesticide is approved for marijuana growing in Washington and Oregon and California. It's very commonly used. So I ask you again to revisit that item in the Huffman permit that would say that. I spoke to the person who prepared the initial study afterwards. Where did you get the idea that would be a good idea for Trinity County? He said he found that information from Valley agricultural growers. And anyone who's been involved in agriculture in Trinity County knows we are not like the Sacramento or San Joaquin Valley. And I also want to share with you that when I returned to Trinity County after a 25-year absence and working with a lot of people in the USDA in the United States and overseas, that I came back here knowing that if Trinity County was going to have success on any agricultural product or any food product, it was going to have to be as pure as possible. The competition, once Trinity County water is used in the Sacramento and San Joaquin Valley to irrigate marijuana or hemp, Trinity County will not be able to compete. Their sophistication level is beyond what is here. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Veronica Kelly-Albies, Douglas City. I would like to address the upcoming agenda for January 17th. If that project meeting had gone through tonight without notice to neighbors, well, obviously communication needs to improve. The complex issues of a rezone request and cannabis conditional use permit were lumped into one agenda item on that. And these are two different issues with different facts and information, as was pointed out to all of the public in April of 2018. And I think they should be split into separate agenda items. This will allow for appropriate comment periods to address more efficiently each issue. And if they are not split, public comment should be extended to 6 minutes to appropriately and legally address each issue. I second some of the things, most of the things that Gail said about information and communication that should be supplied to us so that we too can be properly prepared, apples to apples, oranges to oranges, with the information so it's more factual, more efficient, and on point. I think it will clean up these meetings if we have an opportunity to actually review all of the information. It has the planning department has a flow issue with their information. We'd love to see that flow unblocked and better and more realistic or earlier notices for large projects like this sent to adjacent properties and noticed to the public. And love to hear an update on countywide CEQA process. And if you get a chance to, if you haven't already seen the reports, I recommend get them ahead of the meeting. There's a lot of things in there, a lot of things we're going to point out, and you might want to be prepared for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Daryl Ford, Leaderville, a little different subject. I just kind of want to report to you. As you know, I've been filming your meetings and putting them on YouTube, and they're people are becoming aware of that, and so we're getting a lot of comments. And you're averaging around 50 hits for your meetings on YouTube. And I've come to film tonight, for instance, because I think it's important to track the public comments as well as the actual actions that the commission runs. So, but anyway, I thought I'd let you know that the board is doing a little better than you're doing, but this last meeting for them was pretty popular. But, but I just thought I'd let you know that they're going up on YouTube very quickly, and we're getting a lot of response on them. So, thank you.
Thank you, Darren. We appreciate the time and effort you're putting in to get the meetings posted. Anybody else?
Evening, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, Tom Malenko, Douglas City. Congratulations on the gavel. I look forward to many great things. I'm both sorry to see this issue continued, and also I think thankful, because obviously it's a contentious issue, which is no stranger to the Commission. I'm sure you're used to these things. I hope it doesn't come back into a rehash of all the arguments that have been made getting us to this point. This is a land use issue. It's a rezoning issue, and I think there are certain specific things to this piece of property, like every piece of property, that make it a unique question. Certainly, the reason we send notice to neighbors is because neighbors have something to say in this evaluation as you make your informed decision. And ultimately, the use of property is something we all enjoy the right to. It's a balancing act. You're well suited to do the balancing. I look forward to getting this hearing underway when we do. I walked in late, and I just did hear one of the other commenters talking about some of the pesticides that cannabis cultivators use. And I just did want to mention, as a direct-in, because it sounds so crazy and scary, is a chemical name for a compound known as neem oil, whose secondary use, other than as a pesticide for cannabis plants, is toothpaste. So yes, it is toxic to plants. Yes, there are some allergic reactions to it in humans, but it is not what one might be considered toxic. It is not RAID. It is not some of the poison things that you do see in the kitchen. The impacts from legal cannabis cultivation are substantially different and less than the impacts from the cannabis cultivation that has gotten the reputation it has over the many years that we've been experiencing it here. And it's easy to lump these two together, but I think as we draw distinctions, just like each property has very specific characteristics, different cultivation techniques have different characteristics. What's happening in the national forest, nobody likes that. Nobody wants to see land, soil, air polluted, water. And licensing has gone a long way towards addressing those impacts. I know you guys mostly know that. So anyway, see you next week. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Terry Mines, Junction City. I just wanted to say thank you guys all for a really hard year. Want to apologize for anything you probably said. Not a supervisor anymore, I get to be normal. And I just want to thank everybody for everything, because like Mr. Belanco said, contentious, it's been going on a long time. I think it's many years, unfortunately, and it's been very contentious for all of us, and anxiety-filled and stressed. But I just want to say thank you very much for all the hard work you guys do, because I know you don't get paid. You do this out of your own heart and your own desire to make this a better community and help make it a better place for everybody. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Okay, then we'll close open public comment. Item 3 on the agenda, minutes from November 29. Commissioners? Any comments, corrections? Any?
I don't have, do you?
I wasn't there.
No?
I did not see any.
Did I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
And I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve minutes. Any discussion? Motion. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? And I shall abstain. There being no old business, brings us to new business. Item 4, a proposed mitigated neg deck rezone and use permit for cannabis distribution facility. Applicant Mines. Staff, comment about, you want to continue this item?
Yes, we do.
Okay, due to staff requests having to do with notifications, we've been requested to continue this item to the next date-specific meeting, which is January 17th. Do I hear a motion to continue this item?
I move that we continue item 4, the proposed mitigated negative declaration on the mines project until January 17th.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to continue. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Sorry, Randy.
That's good.
Unanimous. Item is continued. Item 5, matters from the commission. Commissioners? Nothing exciting. Nothing for me. Matters from staff.
Continuing till next month, next Thursday,
We should update the commission on the rotation.
17. I guess that's the next,
As you
yeah,
can
17.
see, Commissioner McKinney is chairman as
everything
chair,
that was on?
and Commissioner Frazier
Yeah.
as vice chair. For the subdivision review committee, Commissioner Stewart is chairman from January through June, with Commissioner McHugh as chairman from July through December.
Thank you. Anything else? Meeting schedule?
Actually, I do have one thing, if you don't mind. I received notice on an email notice about the Form 700 that we need to do annually. Do you want a copy of that when we do it online?
That's totally up to you, if you want to have them keep one on file for you.
We have in the past because there have been issues.
I believe that was before you filed online, but I'd be happy to do it,
Okay,
just, we might as well, just in case.
okay, thank you.
Leslie, should we,
No.
can we review the upcoming schedule? Planning Commission meetings?
The upcoming schedule, January 17th, like you said. January 10th, 24th, tentatively, we have one item that we're going to probably put on the agenda until we've decided that for sure. Don't want to say what the item is, don't know whether or not it's going to happen, so we'll wait. And then we're going back to a normal schedule with one regular meeting and one special meeting in February.
So the meeting on the 24th is yet to be confirmed that they'll actually be ready.
Correct. Don't know if the item will be ready.
And it's the only item, so we may not have a meeting.
Correct.
I will not be here on that date in either case,
Okay.
in any case. So. Mr. Frazier. Okay, no other matters for staff. That brings us to an adjournment. Thank you all for being here. And we did not set a record tonight. So the record is 8 minutes. And, Commissioner Ford, I think, holds that record.